You're watching Aurora 8, proud to be serving the All-America city of Aurora, Colorado.
What does the next 60 days have to do with a Fast Track's tax question in November? An idea to build an overpass at Peoria and Smith Road is closer to becoming a reality. Plus, why cardboard milk cartons could be making a comeback in most Aurora schools. And important information to avoid scams related to the disaster in Japan. Those stories and more are coming up next.
Your city, your source for news. This is Aurora News Weekly.
Hello everyone, I'm Jackie Polisi. Emily is off today. Thanks for joining us. Results from a recent poll suggest that 2011 is not the right year to ask voters for any sort of tax increase to finish the light rail project here in Aurora, and that's in this week's Inside Aurora. If the economy doesn't pick up in the next 60 days, voters won't be asked this year for a tax hike to complete the Fast Track's public transportation project. RTD board members authorized a financial plan last week that may or may not include asking voters in 2011 or 2012 for a tax hike that could generate the necessary $2 billion to finish the Fast Track's project. Board members will spend 60 days studying the feasibility of holding an election this year. Several factors could determine whether RTD board members decide to put the issue on the ballot this November, including whether the economy continues to improve, whether gas prices decrease, and the willingness of private organizations to put down enough money to fund a campaign. In making the decision to put the issue on the ballot in 2012, board members took into account the advice of executives from the Coalition for Smart Transit. Results from a poll conducted by the coalition suggested that 2011 is not the right year to ask voters for any sort of tax increase to finish the project. Current plans call for 10.5 miles of light rail transit along the I-225 corridor, which will connect the existing 9-mile station with the future Peoria-Smith station, creating a total of 8 stations. If a 0.4 sales and use tax increase is approved, the largest tax increase RTD members are considering, and the revenue is available by 2013, the entire project throughout the Denver metro area is anticipated to be completed by 2020. In their financial plan, RTD board members also approved the plan for spending their $305 million surplus, which includes a provision to spend $90 million extending the Fast Track's light rail line from 9 Mile to Iliff Station in Aurora. In other news now, economists say the recent surge in the price of gasoline and other energy commodities is unlikely to completely derail the nation's economic recovery, although it may cause the rebound to slow down. In the view of analysts, the nation is better prepared for higher energy prices than it was in 2008 when gas rose to $4 a gallon in the metro area. For one thing, there are fewer gas hog SUVs on the road these days. Aurora business leaders and citizens got a first-hand account of how legislation affecting our city gets passed. Aurora Day at the Capitol takes place each year in the old Supreme Court chambers located on the second floor of the Capitol. Included this year was a viewing of the Colorado State Legislature in session and discussions on key issues by statewide and elected officials. Aurora Mayor Ed Tower was on hand to introduce Governor Hickenlooper.
He's a great leader. I think we're really fortunate that at a time when we need to bring all of Colorado together, John Hickenlooper's our governor. So folks, John Hickenlooper.
Some of the topics discussed this time around were the I-225 Fast Tracks project and the state's economic growth. It's a chance to help bridge the gap between small and large government. Aurora Day at the Capitol is an annual event hosted by the City of Aurora, Aurora City Council, Aurora Chamber of Commerce, and the Aurora Economic Development Council. Well, the lobby of the Aurora Municipal Center was unusually busy recently with the buzz of businesses looking to connect. The second annual Construction Business Opportunity Fair brought small construction groups looking to do business with the city and large construction companies wanting more information about future projects. The city's manager of purchasing and contracts, Bob Cook, says the idea came about when the small business community expressed concern to the city that they weren't able to network with large companies.
We felt this was a way to do it. identifying the projects would draw the large businesses in, and the small businesses could come right in behind that. And then with this format, then they have an opportunity to be able to discuss with each other and have those kind of networking things that are important to both.
It's very hard nowadays for business to know who is still in business, for one thing, as far as trying to reach out and get subcontractors or look for GCs. And this gives all the different types of businesses a hands-on, finger-on to talk to other people in the same industry.
Companies had the opportunity to learn all about Aurora's small business program, find out about department's construction needs, new city regulations, as well as advance information about upcoming projects that will be taken to bid this year. An idea to build an overpass at Peoria and Smith Road is closer to becoming a reality. A Denver Regional Council of Governments committee recently recommended that $25 million be set aside for the project. That would cover half the cost. The cities of Aurora and Denver would have to come up with the other half. Supporters of the overpass say it's important for both safety and efficiency. Traffic in the area currently has to wait for Union Pacific trains to pass through, and without the overpass, they'll eventually have to wait for light rail trains too. Board members are expected to decide March 16th whether to grant the $25 million. Of course, we'll have an update next week. Well, it's still unclear what looming budget cuts will mean for Aurora's Cherry Creek School District. The district is facing a shortfall in light of Governor Hickenlooper's proposal to cut $375 million from education funding. Cherry Creek is waiting to decide how to make up the shortfall until lawmakers review the governor's suggestions at the end of the month. Right now, it looks like the district will have about $21 million less in its general fund next year. That translates to about $500 less spending per student. The loss comes at the same time the district has seen a growth in the number of students. Meantime, the Aurora Public School District is considering several measures to deal with its own shortfall, including staff furlough days and bigger class sizes. We all remember them when we were kids, and now they're going to be making a big comeback. We're talking about those cardboard milk cartons. A lot of modern school districts were using plastic containers because the cardboard ones couldn't be recycled. Until now. Waste Management, which handles trash and recycling for most Denver districts, has some new equipment that will recycle the cartons. Aurora Public Schools has already jumped on board. APS will have to pay $30,000 to recycle of the cartons, but since they're cheaper than plastic, the district will still save $350,000 a year, and they'll help the environment. Cherry Creek, Aurora's other school district, has been using the cartons for a while. They now plan to set up recycling bins as well as educate folks about the new program. The extra savings will help both districts deal with their budget deficits. The cleanup from Japan's massive earthquake and tsunami disaster has not yet begun, but scammers are seeking to exploit people's desire to help. Joining me now is Dale Mingleton from the Denver Boulder Better Business Bureau with some great information about how to avoid being scammed. This is really, really important, and it happens so quick, and the BBB is saying exercise caution when you're thinking about donating.
We do, because a lot of things that are popping up, and we've seen this with previous disasters. It happened in Hurricane Katrina, where all of a sudden we wanted to give and give and give and help. And the scam artist created these fraudulent websites, these fraudulent links, and now the fraudulent texts. And you just have to watch out and be very careful. The other thing they do is they create fictitious organizations that look very similar to the organizations that we've grown to trust. We've already seen, for example, a scam with the Red Cross.
Okay.
And as you know, they're one of the first folks on site.
Yes.
They are the experts at it. They know how to handle these type of things. But of course, the scammers will find a way to make it the Almost American Red Cross or the Red Cross Inc. Plus, or they'll add names to it, and that way they can say, we told you who we were.
Wow.
This isn't a scam, when in essence, it really is.
It's very sneaky. So what is some advice that the BBB has in checking these places out, websites, phone numbers, and different things like that?
Well, you know, we review charities, and so we would suggest you go on our website and look and see if we've got information on them.
Okay.
And that's one of the first places to start. The second part is to use your common sense. If you don't recognize the charity, call them. Find out what they do. One of the things we suggest is if you really want to make sure money gets to the location, maybe don't use one that handles it in the middle. eliminate the middle person.
Okay.
Go directly to a charity that you know is on the ground. We've talked about many charities want to get engaged, and so they want to collect dollars, but they may not have the expertise to get it there. Look for those that have that expertise. The one that we really are worried about is the texting. And as I told you, one of the reasons I was a little late is I was at a luncheon. As our keynote speaker started to speak, she said, pull out your phones and text this number to donate to Japan. And so there we were in the middle of a luncheon, people asking to text. Now, we felt pretty good that she was reputable, but just imagine that you start getting these texts from unknown folks.
Absolutely.
That's where a lot of the fraud occurs. And so if you do text, and that's something that's your choice. Make sure you check your statements, make sure it's only for the amount that you said. For example, this one specifically said if you text now, it'll give $10.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not a big loss. The thing that we want to really caution you about is that when you text, sometimes you open your phone system up to lots of folks looking for information, and then they can take advantage of you.
And so many people are using their phones these days, the smartphones and the PDAs, and it's really easy to kind of just do life, have life happen on your phone.
Well, it's very easy. Look at our presidential campaign.
Yes,
that's how it was
great
won,
example.
basically based on texting. So we want folks to give from their heart, but we want them to use their brain before they do that, because you want to make sure that the money goes to exactly where you want it to go to, that there's not a fraudulent someone in the middle, and that you're not scammed again and again and again, that somebody has your information and can take advantage of you over and over and over.
Absolutely. And really the key is to do your homework, and do your homework before you actually decide who you're going to donate to. But then afterwards, as you said, check your statements and make sure you don't have duplications on there, or that there aren't more fees coming out than you had approved.
I agree. If they need the money right at that particular point, they're also going to need the money tomorrow.
Sure.
So you can give it just as easily tomorrow as you did today. It's not a campaign, it's to help people. So use your mind and be thoughtful.
And the pictures coming out of Japan they compel people. You know, it's very hard not to. So it's better to be safe than to be sorry.
Most definitely.
Dale, thank you so much. We've got some information. Of course, you can find really valuable information as a business and a consumer online at thedenver.bbb.org. Again, thank you so much,
Thanks
Dale.
for having us
appreciate
on.
your time. Well, you've lived here long enough. You probably remember the old Celebrity Sports Center on Colorado Boulevard. It was a Denver institution from 1960 to 1994 when it was torn down. Soon, Aurora will be home to a new celebrity, the Celebrity Lanes and Tap House. While there's no real connection between the two projects, developers of the new celebrities say they want to pay tribute to the old one, especially since the new one will also cater to families and fun. The 50,000 square foot bowling center is going up in the northwest corner of Arapahoe and Parker. It will feature 40 bowling lanes, an arcade, a sports grill and tap house, as well as an outdoor patio and bocce courts. Bocce is sort of an Italian version of bowling with a twist. The Celebrity Lanes and Tap House will open later this year, around the same time the Parker-Arapahoe Overpass project wraps up. Right now, it's a mystery how the environment really impacts children's health. But Aurora is playing a key role in a historic national study on kids that could impact generations to come. If that dripping faucet is causing you to lose sleep, the city is encouraging you to take advantage of a free service that will help you save a lot of money and finally get some rest. That and much more when Aurora News Weekly continues.
I love books.
I love books.
We love books. And you'll love them even more at the Book Outlet, where you can get paperbacks for 50 cents and hardcovers for $1. You get a deal, and proceeds go to the Aurora Public Libraries. While you're here, drop off some favorites for others to enjoy. If you love books, shop the Book Outlet in the Iliff Square Shopping Center at the northeast corner of Iliff and Peoria in Aurora. You'll love it.
Millions of working people have money coming to them. They just don't know it's theirs. If you made less than $48,000 in 2010, see if you qualify for the EITC, the Earned Income Tax Credit. Some people can get as much as $5,600 extra back from the IRS. It's so close, you can almost touch it. Visit www.irs.gov/EITC.
It's being considered a breakthrough for people with spinal cord injuries, and it's thanks in part to a doctor in Aurora. Dr. Stephen Davies is a researcher at the University of Colorado. He and his team, along with a team in New York, have been studying stem cells. They discovered if they altered parts of the cell, they could regrow damaged nerves. In fact, injured rats who received the altered stem cells were able to use their legs again. Their work was recently published in an online journal. The researchers are trying to figure out how to translate their findings to humans. That could someday not only help people with spinal cord injuries, but also those suffering from strokes and Parkinson's disease. Aurora is playing a key role in a historic national study on kids that could impact generations to come. We first told you about the National Institute of Health's National Children's Study back in November. The project will track 100,000 children across the country from the womb to the age of 21 to see how the environment affects their health. The Aurora-based Colorado School of Public Health and the University of Colorado School of Medicine have teamed up for the local recruitment phase of the project. They opened an office earlier this month in Lone Tree where 1,000 Douglas County families will be recruited for the study. If you'd like to learn more, visit nationalchildrenstudy.gov. Well, spring is almost here, and hundreds of people marked the start of this season by doing some spring cleaning.
Whoa, look at this! Laptop!
Volunteers scoured for trash and found a few treasures along the way.
Well, I found this soccer ball and this laptop here as well. I found an interesting tape cassette from the William Kiever Band, which hasn't been out in years. It's been a pretty good day picking up trash here along Tollgate Creek.
So yeah, more trash than treasures, but hey, that was the purpose of today. Every year, hundreds of volunteers come out for the Great Highline Canal Cleanup. Sponsored by Aurora Water, volunteers remove trash from the 11 miles of the canal that runs through Aurora before Denver Water's spring release of water, which turns the canal into a free-flowing stream leading into Sand and Tollgate Creeks. The cleanup protects a vital resource from pollution while improving the landscape for this high-use recreational area. This is also an opportunity for many to learn about the problems caused by littering and the importance of protecting and caring for our waterways by preventing pollution.
Nearly 500 volunteers came out to help Saturday. An official weight of trash collected has not been released just yet, but last year it was several tons. So a big thank you to volunteers who helped remove all of the trash this weekend. Frontier Airlines is pulling back. The airlines explained last week that they will be trimming their operating schedule this spring due to the uncertainty of future oil prices. The Denver-hubbed airline noted that they had previously forecasted capacity growth in the range of 1.5% to 2.5% for the second quarter of 2011. The company now expects its capacity to be flat compared to the second quarter of 2010. Capacity in the airline industry refers to a carrier's ability to carry passengers, planes in the air, times, and seats. A Frontier spokeswoman said the planned schedule reductions are really limited and focus predominantly on off-peak travel days and will mostly be limited to day-of-week frequency reductions. The company is looking to curtail about 15 flights temporarily, including 2 departing from Denver. The routes were chosen based off of the economics of the flights last year and the current fuel prices. We all appreciate free services now and then, especially ones that will save us money.
City officials are urging residents to conserve as much water as possible, offering free audits to each household to ensure maximum efficiency. The Aurora Water Department is putting out the call in advance of National Fix a Leak Week, which runs March 14th through the 20th. The water conservation awareness effort, now in its 3rd year, serves as a reminder to check up on plumbing fixtures and irrigation systems, which are often wasteful. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, a home can waste, on average, more than 10,000 gallons of water each year due to running toilets, dripping faucets, and other household leaks. To schedule a water conservation audit, call the Water Conservation Department at 303-739-7195 or go to the website aurorawater.org.
Okay, just to give you an idea of how quickly a little drip can add up, a 1/10 of a gallon leak per minute adds up to 4,300 gallons of waste per month, resulting in a $23 spike on your bill. Visit our friends at the Aurora Animal Shelter for this week's Pet Pals segment. If you've been thinking about a new companion, you might want to consider this week's pet, Sam.
This week, the Aurora Animal Shelter would like to introduce you to Sam. Sam is a 4-year-old neutered male Patterdale Terrier. He was brought to a local animal hospital after being found in early February with multiple bite wounds. Sam received extensive vet care, and other than a temporary bad haircut in the places where he received stitches, he is now fully recovered. Sam is a friendly dog who has many years of wonderful companionship to offer. If you're interested in adopting Sam, he's IDA 139013. Adopt him from Kennel K10 at the Aurora Animal Shelter, located at 15750 East 32nd Avenue, or go to auroragov.org/animal for photos and info on other adoptable pets.
Help your heart and the Aurora Animal Shelter this year by running a marathon. Here's more in this week's Pet Tip.
Get some exercise and help the Aurora Animal Shelter all at the same time. Participate in the Colfax Marathon on Sunday, May 15th. Runners have the ability to collect pledges for this shelter. Their donations are used to provide veterinary care for homeless pets. Can't run a full marathon? Don't worry. Runners also have the option of a half marathon or participating in a relay team. Contact Mary Byer at 303-739-7056 to learn how to run on behalf of the Aurora Animal Shelter, or go to spiritofaurora.org.
Thanks to Emily for those stories. Last week, kitchen diva Lindita started in with one of her favorite wintertime recipes, arroz con pollo. This week, she's slicing and dicing the vegetables for the flavor.
Okay, so while the rice is browning right now, okay, you want to get started on your vegetables. So you're going to use about 1/2 onion, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and get started on our celery. I do cut them in half. You know, you can have them in big chunks if you like, but I like mine little, okay? So you take just two little stalks of celery. You can cut them down a little bit if you'd like that, I see. You just pile them all up right here. Easy, and then you want to take about 1/2 green onion. You can also use different colors too as well, the red, orange, to give it some color into your food. Traditionally, this is what I use. So, again, back to the little knife. Okay, so now we're going to do a tomato. And I take about a medium-sized tomato as well, and I use the whole thing. Gotta use the whole thing. My mother said, why take out the core? That's the best part. And I used to pick tomatoes, believe it or not, in the tomato fields in Woodstock, Illinois. Tomato fields, boy, I had a lot of time to dream. And I guess my dream has come true. I'm here. No? Okay, here we go. Híjole. Now that the rice is browned and we have the chicken simmering, boy, it was nice boiled. Now we're gonna take the lid off and add your rice to it. And this is where you have to be careful, okay? I know you want to get excited, get it all done, but just hold on. We're going to do it nice and slow. Because it does, this is where the secret is. Because once the rice hits the water, it will pop open, and you'll see what I'm talking about as we go on. Yee. Let's stir it up a little bit. And this is a molcajete. I don't know if you've seen these in the grocery store. Well, this belonged to my great-grandmother. It's about, over 150 years old. I know. And let me tell you, it comes in handy at my house. So what you want to do with this, break it up. If you have one at home, go ahead and use it. That's what it's for. Go ahead and add it to your arroz con pollo. Now we're going to start adding our tomate. That was 1 whole tomato. And 1/2 of celery. 1/2 of celery, two little sticks of celery. I always call them sticks, palitos, as we would say. Go ahead and toss it all in there. And this is where you also add a little pimienta, pepper, and it's about a teaspoon, and a little bit more salt. And again, I use a little garlic, the garlic powder. I did use 1 clove, but if you're gonna use 2, you don't need to add the garlic salt to it. Okay, just FYI. Let's mix that up a little bit. So next time, I'll be showing you how to make the perfect presentation for arroz con pollo and quesadillas. For this recipe and many more, visit linditasalsa.com.
Lindita likes to tease us each week with a little bit of the recipe. She'll finish it off next week and you won't be disappointed. Well, we end now with some news that should cheer you up. Colorado is the nation's 5th happiest state. That's according to a recent from a Gallup Healthways poll. Colorado's well-being index of 68% placed the state 5th behind Alaska with 68.3%, North Dakota with 68.4%, Wyoming with 69.2%, and Hawaii with 71%. Gallup Healthways telephoned 1,000 Americans asking questions dealing with their emotional and physical health, behavior, work environment, and access to resources. And that will do it for this week's edition of Aurora News Weekly. Don't forget to find us online and on YouTube. You can type in the Aurora channel, all one word. And be sure to check out our newest feature, the Aurora Daily Click, for a look at the latest headlines in Aurora. And we thank you again for watching. Have a great week, everyone.
You're watching Aurora 8, proud to be serving Aurora, Colorado, and all America City.